Please.
Welcome.
Remain seated.
Welcome.
Stay calm.
Welcome.
And if you can, please enjoy
The show. I'm a walking Liberty Bell. Freedom ring through my stride. Freedom to be inside and be a slave to my pride and ride away to scream. Man, this love's so serene. I should probably shake it up just a little bit. I'm so not fine with content. I'm so in line with my stench. My career probably smell like piss, bitch. Switch hit on the line. You take a dip, I just dive into the shallow end, cause the ground needed a dark. Write a song about Philly while I eat in LA. Cause my bars ain't constrained by my time and my space. Eating breakfast in LA, all alone by myself. All the pretty people around me reading books about self-help. Damn, I'm so lonely. I wish I knew how to be fine all by myself. Damn, I'm so lonely. I wish I didn't need to be around anyone else. I'm in a swan on a lake, thinking duck would be great. Be all alone in a boat made for lovebirds. I'll just pedal myself. I don't need anyone else. I think I'm fine just drowning in my dumb words. The sunburn in my skin, my melanin don't mean shit, cause I'm yellow in a two-color run world. It's all binary code, 1010. I'm screaming maybe till computer errors unfurl. I write a song about a goose while I sit in a swan, cause my bars ain't constrained by the bird that I'm on. Pedal boating in LA, all alone by myself. All the smiling people around me made me think I need help. Damn, I'm so lonely. I wish I knew how to be fine all by myself. Damn, I'm so lonely. I wish I didn't need to be around anyone else.
Damn, I need to get better at starting the show. Sorry, I had everything all gussy. And look how dirty the lens is. Hang on a second. There we go. Howdy, peoples. How's it going? Well, welcome to... Well, has the volume good? Yeah. Welcome to episode 163, the Science of Nephilim. And we've got pretty good audio. That's looking good. And we got the phone right here. That's looking good. Hey, buddy, what you need? You know, light? We're live, but I don't know. That one probably doesn't work. So good luck with that. Maybe over there. There you go, right there on the counter. So that's my friend Nate in the background. He helps me sometimes. Thanks, buddy. Have a good one. Today we're going to continue on a little about the Nephilim. So the music, right. Okay, so I need to apologize for the curse words, and I want you to prepare yourselves for the exit song. That's right. I want you to prepare yourself for the exit song. You'll know, but it's a good one. It's a good one. All right. First of all, let's get some news out of the way. This just in, our own Melanie, some of you know her as Star Sorcerer, has donated a ticket to Flattoberfest, and we are going to give it away here live on the air. That's right, live on the air. We're going to give away a ticket to Flattoberfest. That's right. October 24th, 2020, in Greenville, South Carolina. Folks like me, like Bob Modell, like Karen B., like Jason Lingram, Rose will be there. A whole host. There's more. Sage Aquay, I think they just got him on there. Full cast. A regular gangbusters of globebusters. And I use that term in a larger tribal sense. If globebusters is here, I don't mean to include myself, but damn, I love your train. and will happily hobo on that caboose whenever I can. We are giving away a ticket to Flattoberfest, thanks to Melanie. And you are qualified for that. That's right, you are qualified for that. All you have to do to enter is touch your nipples and say, no, I'm just kidding. All you have to do to enter is in the comments below, you need to type, I want a free ticket to Flattoberfest, all right? Now, don't get confused. Some of you are typing that in the chat right now, and that's not going to work, all right? I'm sorry. It's not going to work. You're going to have to burn some calories, all right? Karen B is putting in some serious sweat, right? She is secreting the salt from her forehead, and she has earned this. So we are not going to put our comments in the chat. No. We're going to put them in the comment section down below. That's right. Down below this video, there's a thing called comment section. Some of you use that to say things. And that is what I need you to do. You need to type the words, I want a free ticket to Flattoberfest. If you misspell it in any way, if you use any kind of pronunciation, any kind of abbreviation, I'm sorry, what's the word? What's the word when you it's a punctuation? Holy shit. What do you call the thing at the end of a sentence? Damn, you thought I messed up with Elijah yesterday. What is that called at the end of a sentence? Oh my God, why am I suffering like this? It's because I've been writing so much and I'm really not preparing for this. But whatever you call the things that you put like at the end of like sentences, commas, periods, things like that, that stuff, if you get any of that wrong, see, I already blew the joke. I was going to make a joke how you have to have the punctuation perfectly. Thank you, Bryn. If you have to have the punctuation perfect, then you're disqualified. But obviously I was joking. And considering the fact that I can't even say the word punctuation, it kind of proves to that. If you write it in French, only Mère de Moth can write it in French. If Mère de Moth writes it in French, that is fine. I will accept that, all right? But only then. Obviously, I'm kidding. But remember, I want a free ticket to Flattoberfest in the comments. Tomorrow, we will pick a winner. Tomorrow, we will pick a winner. That will give enough people tonight to watch the video, to enter that in the comments. We will do it live on air. I'm pretty sure there is a software that does that. OKC Bear right now is even telling you exactly what to type. I want a free ticket to Flattoberfest. There you go. But in the comments, not in the YouTube chat. D Live. Some of you are not able to enter YouTube comments, right? Some of you have decided, rightfully so, that the Death Star is not worthy of your presence, and we respect that too, which is why you guys get to type it in the live chat comments, because that really is the only comments that we have, okay? So, D Live, go for it. If you want a free ticket to Flattoberfest, type that in the comments, and I will enter both of you guys in there. Both sets of you will be in there. If you're on Facebook right now, dude, I don't even see you, okay? I have no way of seeing your chats. If you're talking to me, I have no idea. If you're asking me questions, if you're airing grievances, we do not have the technology to see that. You might wonder why, but hey, that's where we're at. So you would need to leave Facebook and come to YouTube and put that in the comment. You should be in the YouTube chat anyway. If you're on Facebook, you're already in the Death Star. You should at least hang out with the cool kids. There are cool kids. We are hanging out in the trash compactor on level 5, deck C. Is it deck C? Okay, C Bear, it might be deck D. You'll just follow the snake. You'll find it, open the door, and yell, "Ale, ale, oxen free," and you will, if we're in that garbage compactor, you will hear us, all right? Princess Leia's in there. She smells awful, all right? So find us. Come to YouTube. Get in the trash compactor with us and type, "I want a free ticket to Oktoberfest." Gaia Bear, you can still rub your nipples, but it's not going to get you that free ticket, all right? But it's part of the experience, all of you. Anyone else rubbing? Okay, good. I'd love to give you a free ticket in it to win it, and I just told you how. So put it down in the comments. You're like, but I can't get the comments in there, and that's okay, because you'll be able to. Actually, I think you can leave a comment now. I'm not even sure how that works. Hotel is booked already. Right on, Jules. Glad to see you. I'm looking forward to seeing you, guys. We're bringing a big crowd there. That's the deck that has the pool. Sorry, Benjamin, you're right. Yeah, Benjamin's right. It's a level D. Again, just follow the Princess Leia smell. You will smell it. Man, princesses have smelly buns, as Jennifer tells us. She really does. It's awful. She packs that stuff so tight, right? And then what happens is that the level D is next to the kitchens, right? You get the whole idea, right? And she's a princess, so she's walking around pretending like she doesn't even smell, right? It's damn, right? It's that kind of stuff. Today, we are going to go away. Don't be drinking my coffee, B. That's my coffee. Yes, thank you. Exactly. So we're going to talk about the Science of Nephilim today, which I already announced. And the reason why we're going to talk about that now is because it really ties into what we were discussing yesterday and the day before. How? Because we're looking at a cosmology. We're discussing a cosmology that has in through the outdoor. The fractal has both built into the system. When you know what a fractal is, you realize that a fractal doesn't really have a beginning and an end. It simply expresses itself and expresses itself and expresses itself. And you plug in X into that fractal equation and it gives you a color. It shows you the X and Y coordinate at that location, whether or not the number itself falls inside or outside of a threshold. And that threshold is the living fractal that you see. And we found a way to colorize these things. It's beautiful. And by colorizing it, you're able to see that there's a pattern, like a paisley pattern that you see that shows the Mandelbrot set itself is a scaffolding. We've talked about this scaffolding before, right? We've talked about it in secret societies when we discussed that a secret society doesn't actually have to know what's inside. They don't actually have to know their own secrets. We've discussed how music can have tartini tones, right? The third note that is played, which is the combination of the other two notes, creates a wave pattern that no one has to play. It's simply implied and it's heard. And I described to you that no one needs to keep this secret, that people could play their sounds and a third sound, this tartini tone, this secret society, this goal would emerge below them. And Mandelbrot fractals are the same way. These fractals show you a pattern that you didn't expect to be there, but there it is. And you can dive deeper in those patterns. A lot of people will spend their lives rendering them, running them through 3D programs. You can fly through it. In fact, if you do a YouTube search for math porn, math porn, you will actually see these things came up. It's great. You could put them on the screen while you're having dinner, playing music, or whatever. It's a really, really cool experience, and it's showing you that there's a hidden world here. There's a world that's playing that you didn't expect. That world is decoded when you run the math, and that's fascinating because your understanding of math allows you to decode it. That for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, there's been an owl hiding in the Mandelbrot stat, staring right at you with its eyes, and you've never been able to see it because you lack the technology to understand. You lack the technology to decode what was there. Follow me? This same phenomenon can be applied to our cosmology. In fact, not only can it be applied, but it would appear that there is a sect of people that know this code and hoard this code and protect this code. And they've protected it so long that 6,000 years ago, they were able to survive a deluge. They were able to bury a time capsule that stored the revelation, the revelation of its revealing. And that simply by having a simple snapshot, a finished snapshot product, one at the very, very beginning is able to build a roadmap from here to there. They're able to trace and build their steps. And thank goodness, the beginning is the end. The in through the outdoor. The beginning of this cosmology is the end. And we have evidence of this. We have so many civilizations that have a deluge story, that have a reset story, that have a flood story. You know of at least 3, right? If you go to Noah, if you go to, there's one in India. I can't remember those guys' names. And then Gilgamesh, of course. 3 separate flood stories, at least 1,000 years apart, showcasing this idea of a reset, a kind of a reset. The Hebrew calendar itself, there are 220 years left in that calendar. Yep. And that calendar itself seems to suggest that in 220 years, we will have another reset. Now, looking at Dojo Earth, looking at Rome, I am starting to think that perhaps Rome was part of the last deluge. It's not really a part of this civilization. It's a part of the last deluge. I have nothing to prove that, except for the fact that we are reliving Rome right now. And it's really, another part is that Rome fell because a dude like Caligula was just kind of sick. That makes zero sense to any of us. You know that. It would be like implying Donald Trump has control over the military, or he has control over politics in general. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. We've watched presidents die, and it doesn't affect a thing. But we've watched presidents change hands from 2 totally different parties, and the war policy stays exactly the same. So we know this is a wrestling match. We get that. And so when you look at Rome, debauchery. That's what it brought the whole town down. Debauchery. Clearly, we need to be more Puritan, is the idea, and it just doesn't make sense. Something else happened. In fact, if you look at the triumvirates that formed, if anything, Rome would have gotten stronger, not weaker. Stronger. In fact, it did. We're getting way off topic. We will talk about Rome, baby. We will pull that sucker out of the oven and give it a good old slap on the baby, on the booty, right? But not today, because we're getting to Nephilim, and in order to get to that, I want you to understand that this reset story, this 220 years left, this reset story leads to the very beginning. The end leads to the beginning. And in the beginning, we have the Nephilim. And in the beginning, we have giants. And in the beginning, we have these stories of people living hundreds of years. 900 years, then 600 years, then 300 years, right? We have this wind down of people. And that wind down is the sine wave going down. And you could say that man is right about here. And when I say here, he's curving up. He's curving up because there are people in this chat right now that understand all the bullshit. They can see it. That's proof that the curve is starting to get up. So many things since 2012 have shown those. Even 9/11 has shown you. Look at how many people have woken up. Look at how many people are waking up every day. Boom, someone just woke up. I just heard him. You heard him. Boom, that lotus went and opened up. And we've stopped yelling at flowers, haven't we? Most of us. We've stopped yelling at the flowers to open. We're cooler now. We're like, man, you'll open when you're ready. It's all good. Take your time, baby. There ain't no hurry. This is all consent. All consent. And we're struggling with that. We're like, James, how can you have psychopaths and consent? And we've explained this. We've explained how the JoJo system itself is a consent system. And that as we wrong ourselves and wrong each other, we will create these consent electrical contracts with each other. We will abuse each other. We will destroy each other. We will beat each other. We will rape each other. We will rob from each other. And there's this grand system that's happening in our family line. Our family line is learning how to bond with itself in that trauma, with itself. And you become a secret society of one as a truther. You didn't even know it. You didn't even know it. The moment you said, hey, that looks like bullshit. I don't think that plane actually hit that thing. Boom. You were initiated. You were Hiram Abiff because you said that doesn't seem right. That's all it took. Boom, you initiated. You didn't know that, did you? And you can't take the blue pill. You can't. You can't amnesia yourself. I know there's cartoons that you can hit someone on the head with a frying pan and then they lose their memory. Then you can hit them on the head with a frying pan and it comes back. And then you can hit them and they lose it and it comes back. But I've tried this. It doesn't work. It's much more complicated than that. You're at least going to need like a rolling pin for one direction and the frying pan for the other. Because if not, your head's going to get confused. It can't keep count. You just bashed it in the head. So we realize that this amnesia is a virginity. It's a beautiful virginity. We understand that the ignorance and amnesia give you a power that you didn't understand. In fact, I would argue with you that the most powerful creature in the world is a baby. A baby. That baby cannot wrong anybody. No matter what that baby does, no one will interpret it as it being wronged. A woman does not get up 3 days later and goes, I can't believe that kid spit on me 3 days ago. Little shit. It just really, really hurt my feelings. It doesn't happen that way. And so we know that amnesia and ignorance is a comfort. It's a shield, it's a protection, but it's also a comfort. We actually can use ignorance to protect ourselves. And this is something we talked about with aperture. This is something we talked about with melanin. Something we talked about with the eye. Something we talked about with the eye of Ra. Ra. Yes? I'm going to get this down. I thank you for all the notes that people have sent, giving me advice on that. I'm still working on rolling the R's. But we're seeing all this now. And I'm here to tell you that on this way up, we are going to approach the Nephilim. You and I are going to become the Nephilim. Yeah, maybe not you or I personally, but that's what's going to happen. And the way this is going to happen is called transhumanism. And that terrifies most of you, and that's fine. And no matter how many times I try and tell you what transhumanism is, there's always a dingleberry that has to come in and say, so you like transhumanism? You're Luciferian because you like... And it's like, no, I'm fucking describing it to you. I don't like or dislike it. I'm describing it to you. I'm telling you what's happening. And I'm glad that we have a gauntlet here to stop that kind of bullshit, because it's stopping all of us from having the electricity to even talk about this stuff. Because the whore of Babylon has been assaulting you with dildos this whole time, and she's about to change. She's been beating you over the head, and she's about to whisper in your ear sweet nothings. And all of you are going to insist, I will never succumb to that, James. There's no fucking way I would. But those evil Luciferians, they'd never get me. And you just don't understand why you're here. This place is designed to eat you. It is designed to eat me. In fact, this place would be broken if any of us could not be eaten. It's true. And the reason why you don't like this idea is because you call it nihilism, but actually you have a fetish for death. Yes, a fetish for it. And that you will die every moment of every day to avoid the truth of your coming death. And you will insist that you're not here to die. You will insist that anyone that does die here was cruel, that it was heartless, that it was inhumane, that it was terrible, that it was the worst thing that could have possibly happened. And it's not. It's not. You can turn yourself inside out. You can gut yourself like a fish. You can evacuate yourself to the machine. And I guarantee it. That is a million, bajillion, gazillion times worse than dying. And the sooner we come to terms with this beautiful, yes, beautiful thought, the sooner we start living. You cannot live with a fetish for death. A fetish is when you want something that you need. You need it to survive. You think you need it to survive. And you do. I just gave a really bad definition of fetish. Ignore that, please. But we have this twisted relationship with death. And we don't understand that death is actually the most sovereign thing you can do, is to choose to die for your soul. In fact, in my book, Quantum Rapture, which we've been discussing because I followed this train all the way down, you learn that the moment a living creature values the sanctity of their identity is the moment they become illuminated. They become lit. And that Kwan, one of the characters in the book, as an artificial intelligence, was developing this sanctity for her own life. That as an artificial life form, she didn't have the capability because everything was rational, everything was science-based, but it was the human integration that allowed the sanctity of life to rise up. Because a machine cannot understand the concept of preciousness. Because preciousness, the preciousness of life, is an adrenal reaction. It's a harmonic adrenal reaction that pulls you in ways that your mind cannot comprehend. And when we get over our fetish for death, we start to live. And when we start to live, we begin to not consent with things that are unacceptable. And that if anything's going to save you, sit down, please. Except for you, Josh. I know you're on a standing desk, but just like grip the sides. If any of you want to avoid transhumanism, if any of you want to avoid what's coming, I'm here to tell you that you better start to realize that the most important weapon you have in your holster is your own death. And I'm not talking about suiciding yourself. I'm telling you that when someone makes a proposition to you or gives you an order or a mandate, that you do not have to accept that as your law, that you can accept the violence instead. And that violence could be death. And the sooner you are comfortable with that, the sooner you become the most powerful person in the universe. Because you now control your own life and death. You are truly sovereign at this point. And it's going to take transhumanism to awaken that in us. That this bitch slapping from the whore of Babylon is not cutting it. And that the way she's going to do it is she's going to coax you now. She's going to promise you things that you never thought was possible. And that this idea that we have, the Elon Musk bullshit, where he's like, yeah, AI is going to become sentient, it's going to be a real problem. Blah, blah. He's so full of shit. Because the truth is much worse. When I say worse, it's much more ominous. There will never be a computer itself that becomes sentient. Never. There will be a human. And that human will be modified to such a degree that they become the Nephilim. And we've talked, if you read my Kronos begat Leviathan story, you see how this works. You understand that this Lord technology, the very same one we discussed yesterday and the day before, the very same system, Lord technology, will begin to switch for the third phase and breed that in you. The first phase was obedience, the Old Testament. The second phase was compassion, the New Testament. The third phase is revelation. It's the rising of the Superman. We need a word for it. It's the luciferication of man. And it should scare you. Because there's not one part of it that's going to hurt. That's what is so... That's what, to me, when I look at what's happening, that's what terrifies me so much about it. Like, dilates me, terrifies me, I mean. Because first is obedience, which calls for punishment, fear, right? And that's something that you can easily resist. You can certainly be obedient, but you're also like, I fucking do not like this Lord guy. He's trying to get me to kill my son. He's like, what the fuck, dude? That's one thing. You still maintain yourself because you're just simply obedient to something else. But then compassion you're still in yourself. You start to learn to understand others and this Lord technology. But third is the promise of omniscience. And I want you to hear that the word omniscience has the word science in it. Omniscience. It has the word science in it. And omniscience is a one understanding, a singularity of understanding. Excuse me. Singularity of understanding. The Tower of Babel, which is the living erection of man's addiction to the whore of Babylon, to his lust for her, that Tower of Babel will bring us a singularity of understanding. And how will that happen is probably through some kind of organic supercomputer. What I mean by that is that we will learn to harness the ocean or the air or the soil or all of it as a computing power. That analyzing the salt, the oil, the secretions of those things, the movement of the sun, the vectors of the wind, the flows of the current themselves will create a vortex engine that we can use to render math. Math. And if you want to call it a quantum computer, that's fine. But it may not even need to be that. Because I don't even know if quantum computers are real. And I only knew that because I wrote a book called Quantum Rapture about quantum computers. That I'm telling you that I don't know if that's even the way that we have to go to get it. Because that stuff's so speculative, it's ridiculous. That instead, through the connection to the soil, to the air, to the water, that we might find a way to harness computer power. And you're like, well, why does that matter? The reason why that matters is because the reason we're building an internet, we built an internet. That internet is your telepathic or empathic highway. That the internet, you think the internet's interesting now, just fucking wait. Because it's building the grid that's allowing you to see these electrical fields. You see these fields now. You're able to analyze and measure your virtue and your worth through likes, through shares, through contacts. And that before the internet, you certainly still connected with people and they certainly still liked or disliked things from you, but you never had a trackable way to measure it. And that what you're looking at right now with the internet is a rudimentary, elementary way of tracking electricity. And this is why we're learning about our fields. We're learning about these field rings thanks to the internet. Okay, so first of all, it's ironic because you're watching me on the internet, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm telling you that this etheric matrix that we have is giving us the capability of actually seeing fields that we cannot perceive with our eyes. But we can understand them, we can measure them, we can see their results. And all we lack is the technology in ourselves to render these things in our retinas. I have rach. We've talked about this. And I'm not suggesting that you need to be all borged or cyborged up. I think that's probably bullshit. I'm telling you, though, that there are devices that allow you to analyze your pulse, analyze your breathing, analyzing your heart rate. And if you were to be sentient of those things as you're talking to someone, if you were to be sentient of someone else's fields as you're talking to them, that you would become more empathic. And as you grew in empathy, you would have a better connection to those people. Those people would like you better because you empathically connect to them better. And that we'd end up creating this soft competition where each of us are trying to improve. We're taking our humanism and perfecting it. We're honing it. Thus spake Zarathustra. And if you want to know, holy shit, man, if you want to know why Hitler was so demonized, it's because he was trying to do this before humanity wanted it. That humanity was terrified of these skills. Humanity did not want to participate in this at all because they did not want the vigilance that comes with Prometheus. And you see this now, right? In some of my critics, you see them pouring out their fear and their hate and their anger at it. Anyone who would dare to think this way. And I feel sorry for those people because their great-great-grandchildren are going to be fucked. Because they're going to try and cling to this Puritan aspect where you cannot integrate or improve. Or look at how afraid we are of stretching our body, of yoga. Look how afraid we are of words like chakra, right? Look how the New Age movement itself has said, oh, everything's great, everything's light, everything's light, everything's fine, happiness is all we need. You see this resistance, but we're slowly breaking through. We're slowly breaking through. And once we break through that, you're going to notice that by joining transhumanism, I know you're going to be like, I can't believe he's fucking saying that, but it's just the fucking truth. That by joining transhumanism, you are going to be a better human. When I say better, I just mean initially you're going to be able to connect more. You're going to be more successful. You're going to be able to run faster. You're going to be able to jump higher. Your diet is going to improve simply because you're more aware of everything that's going into it. You're not going to do vaccines. You're going to sharpen your mind. You're going to cleanse your guilt. You think the dojo sessions that we have now are great, but wait till you watch this behind transhumanism. Guys, in my book, The Quantum Rapture, I describe this technology called IO. It is a self-help mirror. And this mirror tracks your pupil dilation. And every time your pupil dilates, it realizes that you became uncomfortable. And simply by watching the micro gesture of your pupil dilating, that computer can ask you questions subliminally by flashing them on the screen and can determine your entire makeup for that day simply by how you limbically respond. And that you could sit down in front of IO, in front of this computer, and she would automatically come on. And because it has multiple cameras, it's able to triangulate where your pupils are looking on the screen. And in a flash, you could show 100 pictures on the screen. And in an instant, anyone that's recognized that eye it would pulse. And it wouldn't pulse in tension, it would actually pulse in comfort. Because it knows that person. It feels familiarity with them. We see this in a functional MRI. I'm not making this shit up. What we don't have is everyone's not walking around with an fMRI machine. But we will. And when we do, you're going to be able to plug into your limbic system. You're going to know what your keel feels at all times. And we talk about this all the time. I've been trying to crudely, rudimentarily, through carpentry, right? Get you back on your deck. Get you either out of the crow's nest. Most of you are in the crow's nest. Some of you are down the keel. And we're trying to get you back up on that deck where you can navigate the world. And I'm telling you that with IO, with this device, you will be there automatically. You will want to be there because you will understand. And that alone improves your standing 1,000-fold. People will feel that electricity from you. They will feel that charisma from you, and they will say, I want what that guy has. How do I get that? And that soft competition is part of transhumanism. It's coming. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to have to shave your head. You're not going to have to stick a tube in your back. You're not going to have to drink liquid and go, oh. You're not going to atrophy with your bone. If anything, your muscles are going to get stronger. Your bones are going to get stronger. Your T cell count and your B cell count are going to be systematically regulated, controlled, and optimized for maximum performance. You're going to discover the purpose of your tonsils. You're going to discover the purpose of your appendix. And right now, we think we are brain and heart. And we are adrenals. We don't even understand that yet. We are adrenals. We are the endocrine system. Endocrine. And that endocrine is all electric, which is why we don't understand it. The lymphs we had are separated on your body. The gonads, the throats, all of them are separated because it's an antenna. It's a fucking electrical antenna. And if you want a better reception, you're going to make yourself tall. The taller the person, the better the reception. Tesla, tall motherfucker. And as transhumanism perfects you, you will naturally grow taller. You will not get an enhancement. You will not get lip injections. You will not get steroids. None of that. It will be 100,000% natural. It would be more natural than you've ever been. And when you do this, you'll notice no one needs their wisdom teeth out anymore. Why not? Because our skulls aren't shrinking. Our skulls are no longer shrunken, so our wisdom teeth don't fall out. And we will notice that everything will improve. And the whole time, there will only be one guy walking around with a sandwich board. Instead of saying the end is near, it'll say the end is awesome. And you will not live to 60 years, you will live to 120. And after that, you will live to 200. You will live to 300. And the longer you live, the taller and stronger your bones need to be. And we will return from whence we came. The giants will literally come home. And they will be us. And it will all be because of transhumanism. And you can come to my house and burn me and say, oh, it's fucking evil, dude. I'm just telling you what's happening. I'm just telling you why these doors are so big. Just telling you why these axes are so tall. Just telling you why we have so many people that have still survived. And as each of us grow taller in stature, our antenna grows taller, our adrenals grow taller, which means our empathy, our intelligence, our strength, our longevity, all of those improve. And that means our society improves. Yes. Guys, you don't get how great this is going to be. You don't get how great it's going to be, which is exactly why I think it's so dangerous. Because of how great it's going to be. And all the stories that we have will finally be revealed. And all the story, I'm talking about the resets in history. I'm talking about all the giants. I'm talking about all the people that go out of their way to hide these things from you. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that do that. And we have stories of how evil they are, right? We have all these stories of the Nephilim and how dangerous they are. And that is our fear. That is our psychic fear of realizing our potential. It's manifested in that. We have giants everywhere in every culture. In the islands, in America, in Europe, China, Aztec culture, Nordic races, wherever this is from. I just thought this is hilarious. He's drinking an energy drink. Just funny. Dave and Goliath, though, right? Goliath's the bad guy. Dave is the good guy, right? And we demonize these things, but there are forgotten ancestors too. They are. What could have Goliath told us? What could he have told us? We even have them in Egypt. The Tarahumara Indians of the Southwest. Long and tall, red-haired giants. The Moon-Eye people of the Southeast. Mounds buried deep with giants, excavated by archaeologists wanting to make a profit. Meanwhile, things like Piltdown Man are put in this place to tell you, no. There's no such thing as giants. There never was. Everything evolved from a fornicating fish that masturbated with a monkey and came on shore and turned into you. And we demonize these things because we fear them. We change their size. We argue over the limitations. We say, well, no, the Bible really said, I know you think the Bible said 12 feet, but actually later on it was determined that really they just meant 6.5 feet. And when they were calling him really tall, they were just being dramatic, just being dramatic. But the pictures tell you. They tell you something completely different. And as I told you that you're coming back up again, that's the transhumanism that's leading to omniscience. And what happens with omniscience? you might think, wow, James, that's omniscience sounds awesome, man. Everyone's going to be, what, we'll be flying by then? We could. Who knows? It could be that by then we've learned the sacred name Yahweh. Yeah, guys, I don't think you understand how profound this is, okay? Right now, your eyes are capable of seeing 200 frames per second. That's how much signal they can see. But the fastest fighter pilot in the world can maybe clock in at 120, maybe. So there are 80 frames per second of information that could be coming through the eyes that you can't even see. Friends, the exact same thing is happening with your ears. The exact same thing is happening with your vocal cords. And that there could be living creatures that are all around us, demons, maybe, etheric beings, who knows, that are simply too fast for the eye, or too slow, or too slow. Yes. But we don't know because we have 0.01% of our visual spectrum of light, and then inside of that, it's like a 0.001% of what we can actually perceive. We see nothing. Our aperture is this big. It's so tiny. And I'd like you to picture what it would be like to see 200 frames per second. I'd like you to picture that you could see someone's aura, that you would know exactly what they're going through emotionally, physically, all of that, simply by looking at them because you had the speed. I would like for you to picture that your ears have the capability of fucking listening to a signal at 2.4 gigahertz. 2.4 gigahertz, guys. Which means you could listen and speak, if your vocal cords were trained enough. You could listen and speak at 2.4 gigahertz, which means you would have a Wi-Fi fucking connection. You could connect to my router in my house if I gave you the password. You could connect to that router and you could go, Google, up, answer 17. And if I had that yesterday, I could have told you Elijah like that. I could have told you punctuation like that. And you guys would have said, hey, that James is really sharp. And because I don't, I feel like a retard, which means I am losing. You could speak in Wi-Fi. You could listen in Wi-Fi. Don't tell me we don't have the capability, because you do. What you lack is the precision on your instrument. That's all. That's all. All you lack is the precision. You can turn the volume up or down, but you can't click it at such a micro level. So you don't think this stuff's possible, and it is. And once it becomes possible for you to speak and listen to the internet, you are looking at a worldwide telepathic mosh pit. Maybe mosh pit's not the right word. Part mosh pit, part orgy, part key party. Like, I'm talking about, like, when I say orgy, I mean like super, super close, super intimate with everyone at once. Do you understand how much data, how many conversations you could have at 200 frames per second? I'm not telling you, let's do it, let's get this done. I'm simply telling you what's happening. I'm simply telling you where it is and where it's going. And there's so much good news here that as it's happening, not one of us will be able to see down into omniscience and say, hey, wait a minute. Are you sure we want to do this? Wait. Because every day we're raping mystery. Every day we're ripping her clothes off. Every day we're saying, no more. Had enough of you, lady. We don't like you. We'd rather fill this chasm with 1 trillion dildos because we do not want to look in this chasm. We do not want to see the abyss. We want to hide from it. And who knows, maybe with this advancement, maybe we will learn to embrace it. Maybe we will learn to sanctify it. But I don't think so because of all the other resets. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen. As mystery gets less and less, you and me get more and more mad, insane. We go insane without mystery. I go insane right now, not touching a woman. It's the same thing, but it's much deeper. It takes longer. Because I don't mean like I go insane, but I'm just trying to give an example of like that relational thing, like as above, so below. It's our embracing of the mystery will go. And when it goes, we will begin to behave very oddly. And I predict that the moment we have the superhuman computers that tap into the environment, you will find a special race of people, a special group of people, I should say, an elite, that are diving for that technology first, and they have it. And the moment they have it, they are out simulating everyone else. And even if they're magnanimous, even if they're awesome people, even if they're super enlightened, they are still able to out simulate you, which means they're no longer human. They're different. They're in another class. They can listen to Wi-Fi. They already know what you're going to say before you say it. They already know what you're thinking because they can watch the chemical pulse of red as your capillaries fill the skin in your head. And they can see that from 100 yards away. And it only takes 1 out of 200 frames that they can dedicate just to focusing in on the capillaries. So you start to understand that they can do that to your pulse, they can do that to your breathing, they can do that to your brain waves. They can do that to your posture. They'll see your alignment. They'll know your fifth vertebrae's off. These are not going to be people anymore. We need a different word for them. Giant doesn't even cut it because giant just means large. No, these are a different race of people. These are Nephilim. And that we are creating that system. And as these elite, right? As these elite people perfect their skills. Hey, buddy, you doing all right? You doing all right? You want to get that? Yeah, good boy. As they perfect these skills, this omniscient engine becomes that much more powerful. Omniscient engine. You see, right now Google owns most of the internet. I know you guys, what are you talking about? They own most of the node buildings. The buildings where the nodes go, Google owns. Google probably owns most of Bitcoin. Well, I thought it was decentralized. It's really not, because they own most of the nodes that transact those transactions, that fulfill those transactions, that verify those transactions, sorry. And that when this omniscience comes, as it gets more powerful, that this fucking garbage truck is getting ready to really screw this up. That you know what? I'm going to show you something. He's going to be really loud. I'm going to show you something. I really have to get quiet when I explain this to you. You may not be able to hear it, but I cannot fucking hear it. It's right there. It's getting ready to back up. How about we jump to airing of grievances? How about that? I have an airing grievance. The garbage truck's loud. Really loud. I'd like you to know I added a slurp sound if you like that, guys. Now's the time to air your grievances. Tell me things that bother you. Tell me reasons that you'd like to grieve something. Don't forget, you can enter that drawing. I want a free ticket to Flattoberfest. That would be anything but a grievance unless you don't win. So let's see, do we have any grievances at all? Do we have any Legion James? This is the best beat song. Dotto Hoax is on. Dance Off, I like it. Swirly Straws, I know, Rachel. Got a whole set here, thanks to you. Grievance, we make too much plastic garbage in the world. Ben Stuger. Maybe. Nate Hickson can't find his lighter. He stole mine. No, he didn't steal mine. There's my line. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah. Space says purr. You didn't say who hit the codes, Jed. What do you mean by that? Who hit the codes? Oh, I got you. Well, obviously. Yeah, I'll tell you that. As soon as the garbage truck leaves, I'll tell you that. Is my book on back order? No. If you've not gotten your book, please let me know, because I got a whole box of them here. I am behind on mail, but that's a good grievance. James, you're behind on mail. I have a grievance. I breathe more myself than everyone here. Heart emoji. Gonna be lit, says Karen B, and it's right. Katua has no dank herb. That is a perfect grievance, Nicholas. It is such a perfect grievance. You're so right. You're so right. Let me see. Any grievances in D-Live? I got castor oil. We realize it's hair oil for black women. My bad. Interesting, Johnny. It's a great show. Literally just showed. Okay, James, you forgot to show us a picture of Henry Munster. That's a great grievance. Thank you, Star Clock Fair. You're right. Unregistered to vote. That's a perfect grievance, Electric Sheep. Why give them that? This truck's not going to leave. He's going to keep running his really loud engine. He's talking to somebody. He's like way over there talking to somebody while his engine is running right now. Who hid the codes? The same people that were addicted to monoatomic gold. The same people that spent 6 years in the desert. If you watched my show 2 days ago, you would know exactly who did that. In fact, we don't even know what they're called right now. It's the chosen people, and chosen is a very broad term here. This is really throwing me off. Omniscience. I'm going to just try and do this. Omniscience. As each of us improve, we're learning the sacred word of Yahweh, which means that through polyphonic singing, which we talked about before, because you have such precision of your voice and your ears and your vocal cords, that you could polyphonically sing yourself into a levitation. And it's so hard to picture this stuff right now, because you think, oh, that's impossible, because we look at things like this, right? Because here's where we are. We're still in two towers. We haven't stepped through the two towers. We're still afraid. You're looking at a triangle here, aren't you? You're looking at a scapegoat. You're looking at a rescuer. And you're looking at a victim. And all three of these change their tactics to keep your attention. So we're a long way to go. We have a long way to go before we get there. But that's what's coming. It's the transhumanism. As we advance, it's coming. So omniscience. As this supercomputer builds, this computer, biological, organic system that I talked about, something that taps into the environment itself, as that becomes more proficient, we start to simulate all kinds of things. Liquids falling, waterfalls spilling, light as it bounces in a cave. And we're able to see in the dark. We're able to predict exactly what a waterfall will sound like before it makes a sound. We're able to predict everything a baby says, everything a bird is about to say. We know exactly what they're talking about. Everything is fulfilled. Everything has light. There is no darkness. And this exact thing that the New Agers are like, oh, it's going to be great, everything's going to be all light, will actually be the thing that destroys humanity. It destroys our ability to connect with each other because we have no mystery. That's right. See, right now we have this aversion to lies because we think lies are just nothing but evil. And it's a really hard concept to even dig into. I realize that. It's completely backwards. In fact, I'm just writing this chapter last night in my new book. A whole chapter dedicated to why lying is good, to why we actually need it to happen. And as we approach this omniscience, you'll notice that you yourself will be able to tap into this simulated mind, and you will be able to predict things 8 hours ahead, 10 hours ahead, 11 hours ahead. And the elite will have access to more raw computing power, and they will be able to predict years ahead, which is why they will be different creatures. They will live in a different place than us. They already do. That place is called Mount Olympus. That place is already here. And as Alejandro tells me, Greeks don't even consider it mythology. What we call Greek mythology, they just call history. They don't think it's made up. That's why when we discovered Troy, we were like, oh, that was real. Huh. Wow, what a fluke. And we're slowly coming to grips with this. And that omniscience is going to make us insane. Because we will remove the virginity of ignorance. We will remove that ability to embrace mystery everywhere we go. And that will be a sad day. That's the part that this is the part now, you're finally getting the part where I'm telling you, this is why I'm nervous about it. Because we won't love each other anymore. We will simply chemically connect. Because love is built on a stratum of mystery. It's probably hard for you to see that, but it's true. Love is a connection that's made when you don't know what the other is saying. And if you already knew that, the connection of love, that kind of gravity, gravity itself is love. If there is a force called gravity, it's love. And we just haven't just determined how it works. When you jump off the land loves you so much, she wants you to return. She pulls you back down. She's like, don't go, don't go, don't go. I love you. It's a different kind of force. And the reason why all of us feel gravity is because God loves all of us. But that omniscience is going to go. That omniscience is going to make that go. The mystery is going to disappear. And that truly is what I fear the most about transhumanism. It's not a sentient external computer. It's a human perfected so much that he's able to predict so far in the future that he finds time itself has become a prison. And he is trapped in time, he is trapped in space because he knows the answer to everything. Like to imagine you visiting a cave, a cavern. And the moment you walk into that cavern, because of your enhanced abilities, you can see everything. I don't just mean the entrance of the cave. You could see around corners. You're able to map out that entire place simply by listening to the reflections of your breathing as it echoes off the walls. And you won't be able to turn it off. Right now, I cannot turn off this garbage truck. I can't. I can cover my ears, but I can still hear him. It's driving me nuts. The most important part of this entire presentation, I wanted it to get quiet so I could truly explain this part. And it's ruined because I do not have the ability to turn that off. I can't do it. All I can do is just suffer through it. And I'm not having fun right now. I'm not enjoying the moment anymore. I'm waiting for this truck to go away! But he won't. Because I know too much. He knows too much. And this is all part of where we're going. And it's going to be beautiful. That's what makes it so hard, is it's going to be beautiful. Do you realize how easy this would be if Babylon was coming by our house and clubbing us and saying, take this Neuralink chip and put it in your head? It'd be where we are now. We're doing splendidly now. Why? Because there's 72 aluminum injections they're trying to stick in your arm. It's not fucking rocket science to say no. I realize for some of us, Sidebar: rocket science is complete bullshit. I need to come up with a different analogy for that. But still, this is where we're going. And honestly, the only way we'd stop it is if we just really fucked up before we got there. And when I look at this Hebrew reset calendar, this 220 years left, I see that that actually is in line with where we're at. And when you see those videos of Benjamin Netanyahu and he's walking out and all these Talmudic Kabbalists are like, Benny, you need to hurry up. There's only so much time left. You've got to rebuild the temple, Benny. You've got to do it. You are failing us all if you don't hurry. But you realize these people have a timeline. And the only way I could see this world resetting is through a massive technological advance. And guys, look where we were just 100 years ago. 1920. Look where we were. We were at dirigibles then. We were already more advanced than we are now. What you're looking at now is a scrunch before the leap. The things we're going to be seeing, the longevity we're going to be gaining is going to rapid fire turbo increase. And the advancements are going to come, and they're going to come, and they're going to come. And they're going to happen not on a technological level, but on a spiritual level. Do you understand? As your body improves, so too does your spirit. We start freaking out about yoga, right? When we stop freaking out about yoga, when we start really plugging into our bodies and feeling what they're capable of, we're unleashing all this power that's all around us. Guys, look at how much money we're shedding in taxes for bullshits like this. That's all we're doing, is sending all that resources, all that prana directly to them. Think about what we could do with that energy if we had it here. We could do so much more with it. So much more with it. So I'm not even talking about an imaginary, unseen power we're going to tap into. I'm talking about just the sheer propaganda and lies that we're losing all of our resources, our energy. That's your energy. And you're pouring it out the window. We all are. We're dumping it into the ocean. And the moment we start saving that energy, the moment we start conserving that, is the moment that we spiritually awaken. When we stop shaming our ego, we become more compassionate. When we stop accepting things like this, we become worthy of more. And this entire thing explodes. The golden dawn, the age of enlightenment, a renaissance of spirituality. And as we're approaching that Lemuria, some of us are approaching omniscience. Some of us are going to find ourselves trapped in a prison of time because there's no more mystery. And those people will want to fix that, and they won't want to die because they have too much power. This is why millionaires are not generous. This is why the people that are super rich are not able to give any of that money to help better society, because the money itself encapsulates them, it freezes them, and they're not able to help. When we unlock this seal, right? You can think of your 7 seals as your chakras. When you unlock each of those, removing the shame, removing the bullshit, removing the propaganda, removing the dissonance, you're lighting yourself up one system at a time. And that becomes contagious. So it's a beautiful way to go on our way up to the top of this hill. It'll be beautiful the whole way. And not one of us will resist it because of how beautiful it will be. We will be healing traumas in each other. All of our energy will simply improve. Who would want to stop that? Anyone who tries to stop that will be called insane, will be called crazy. It's the kind of future that leads to the past, doesn't it? Doesn't it? it leads to a deluge. And you could think of a deluge as a way of storing the idea of resetting memory, of reformatting a hard drive. Try and explain to someone in biblical times what a hard drive is and you had to reformat it. You can't. So you have to come up with another word like flood or deluge or something like reset. Reset. And how do you store that word where it'll last for 6,000 years, where people who'll eat gold for 40 years just to keep that secret? God, he's fucking leaving. Oh. Thank God. Sorry. You guys probably can't even hear it, but wow, it's loud. He's still there. He's backing up. Guys, if you want a ticket to Oktoberfest, to Flattoberfest, please remember to enter a comment in the YouTube comments. I want a ticket to Flattoberfest. We're giving a ticket away tomorrow. Special shout out to Melanie for making that donation. Awful nice of you. And it's going to be off the chain. God, I'm so glad he's gone. Oh. Of course, now it's time to end the show. Thanks a lot, Dick Cheese. I'm going to have a talk with him. I am. I'm going to have a talk with him. I'm going to tell him, dude, don't fucking park your truck here in front of my house and go talk to Ronnie for a while. Ronnie's the guy. You don't need to hear this. You don't need to hear this. Guys, this is Quantum Rapture. It explains all this. There's no garbage trucks in this book. I don't think so. It'll walk you through this more. It'll even explain the tech a lot more as to where this comes and how this is going. And what I think is beautiful about this is I spent my whole life wondering, how do we get here? How does this all work? And I swear, this solves so many things. First of all, you have a fractal in through the outdoor. You see the beginning creating the end creating the beginning. You see the technology is a sine wave. You see the humanity is a sine wave. And we go from short needs to get our wisdom teeth out to Nephilim, holy shit, I can fly, right? To short, we're going to only have 2 candidates while Israel has 42, but we're still going to pretend like it's a legitimate debate, to holy shit, I can read and speak Wi-Fi. And that's how amazing we are. You are a living giant. Truth is a giant come home. And you are that soil. You are that mound. Full moon tomorrow night. I think it's tomorrow night. Some of you it'll be tomorrow, some of you it'll be Friday. So it's a good time to keep the waxing. Anytime the moon's waxing, it's a great time to work on something, hence why I'm writing the book. Use that time wisely. Those of you who do not like cuss words, you're probably not going to want to hear the outro music. There's not a lot of cuss words, but I really like this guy. Same guy that wrote the intro music. I hope you enjoy it. Let me do a quick check, because now I can think again. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, James D. Either get busy living or get busy dying. That's right. And don't be afraid of dying. Realize that dying is your ultimate sovereignty. Dying is a gift if you think about it. It is. It is. When you understand that this is your gift, that you're the one that has this, you truly, truly become the most powerful person in the universe. I also will miss the garbage man. You better miss him, Chad. He's gone now, thank goodness. Guys, thanks a lot. Oh, no dojo today, right after the show. There's a dojo tonight, the first night session of dojo. We're going to be blindfolded in there going, how do I see this? This is going to be great. Michael Wachter is going to be modding it. He's a great moderator, perfect for this. We have some great moderators, by the way. You should check out the dojo sometimes. I don't talk a lot in the dojo. It's really great. I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. Yeah, so let's roll this song, and you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. And don't forget, leave in the comments, I want a ticket to Flattoberfest. And yeah, that'll be awesome. And I'm hoping that Karen B is going to see just how many people are coming because of what we're doing, guys. Just saying. Just saying. The more you spread this, the more you share this, the more Karen B's going to go, you know what? I'm pretty freaking psyched I invited James. She's the first person to do that. She's the first person to say, hey, I would like for you to talk, James. And I admire that because sometimes I say things that are provocative, and I appreciate her for that. So shout out to Karen B for taking a chance on James True. Can't wait to show you guys I Have Raw. Can't wait to even see you in October. We have 3 events coming up. We have the New Moon Campfire. It'll be our 3rd one, a big one for the land. That's the 16th or 17th, and then the Flattoberfest the next weekend. And then the Blue Moon, Full Moon gathering on Halloween. Not really ceremony, more of kind of like a hangout. So it'll be busy time. That's why I'm trying to push the book out first before I get there. In fact, if you guys find that I take a day off, please understand it's only for the book. It'll be because I was up working the all night, like writing, and I was on a flow. And that happened last night, by the way. I went to bed about 5 or 6. But I love being here. I love doing the live stream. But when I'm doing that and the book, it's just hard to find the calories for both. If I could see 200 frames per second, be done, right? Oh, don't even go there, James. But it's true. See how this works? Love you guys. Cover your ears. Any children in the room? James out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Think it's about time for me to go in. Like I dive deep. Like I'm last week night with the flow here. Johnny boy, my peeps. I'm an infotainment state. My brain ain't contained. Shit keeps spilling out. I'm belligerent insane. My drink don't stay in place. That shit's in my mouth. I'm just 2 girls, 1 company. Keep it hipster like succulents. My main bitch be a succubus. Swear I'm better than younger me, but I'm still just as hungry. I could eat the whole country. Contrary to what you see. More than a fat Asian gay man. I'm more like Rayman. Way I'm running and running. Don't fuck with my Ray-Bans. Swear I'm stunner shade stunting. Your bitch come over, she coming. My face be like a couch cushion. Yeah, dig around it and you'll find some real change. I'm so OA. I got Obama behind me. I'm Vinny Chase. I put that drama behind me. I'm so sweet face. Got your mama behind me. And she's strapped, but not in the way that you think. I think I'll start up my day. I think I'll move a few units. I think I'll keep that shit moving like YouTube kitten view counters. I'm done being a down. Think I'll make satire instead. I'll blindly throw around every ugly word in my head. Moist! Smegma on Smeagol's head. Baby, give me my precious. Praise be to Jesus, yeah. Looking good with no shirt and thorn necklace. Or is it a crown? Either way down, for Judas the pound. Sorry, didn't mean to piss off a cold. Stuck in youth and revolt without a cause. A rebel in love with applause. Like narcissism or God. Like the likes is all there is. Like the follow count your soul. But I'm a jaded asshole. It's cause I ain't known. Cause all these systems in place keep a place inside these bowls. Like we all fish saying this is water. This is water. Praise to David Foster. I'm a stay in infinite jest. Manifest destiny. Precursor, sorry to all I leave dead. Fuck all the rest of me. Swear one day I'll get out of my head, but until then, I'll be singing. I'm so OA. I got Obama behind me. I'm Vinny Chase. I put that drama behind me. I'm so sweet face. Got your mama behind me. And she's strapped.